All right, let's dive into the psychology of people who don't socialize much. It's a behavior that gets misunderstood so often, but if we actually look a little closer, there's this fascinating, really complex world happening just under the surface. So let's get into it.
Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever been called antisocial? Or maybe you've gotten the uninterested or awkward label, all because you actually prefer your own company? If you have ever felt misjudged for not being a social butterfly, then this is for you. You see, the big misunderstanding is pretty simple. We see someone pull back and we slap a label on it. But what psychology shows us is that this isn't about disliking people at all. It's about experiencing connection in a completely fundamentally different way. So let's start by unpacking that common misunderstanding. Because honestly, it's easy to see why being quiet gets misinterpreted, especially when we live in a world that pretty much throws a party for extroversion. From the outside, yeah, it can totally look like someone is just checked out, or maybe even avoiding life. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real story is what's happening internally, and trust me, it's so much richer than it looks. So what is that internal experience? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is the social battery. And this isn't just some cute metaphor. It's about the very real, very high mental cost of just interacting with people. Psychologists actually have a name for this: high cognitive sensitivity. And what it means is that in any social situation, your brain isn't just hearing the words being said. Nope, it's working in complete overdrive, processing countless layers of information all at the same time. And just think for a second about what that mental work actually looks like. Your brain is tracking the tone of someone's voice, their tiny facial expressions, the meaning behind a split-second pause, the emotions they aren't even saying out loud, all of it. It's like you're running 10 different complex programs at once. Is it any wonder it's exhausting? And that right there, that leads to this huge paradox. You can have an amazing time, you can laugh, feel a genuine connection, and still feel completely wiped out for days afterward. It wasn't the quality of the hang that drained you, it was the sheer volume of data your brain had to process to make it happen. You might need a ton of time to fully recharge. This high mental cost also explains why the type of conversation matters so much. It's not about being unable to talk, it's about needing a very specific kind of conversation to make all that energy expense feel worth it. Our source material just nails it with this quote. The problem isn't a lack of words, it's a lack of caring about words that feel, well, empty. Those chats about the weather or what you did last weekend, they can feel like reading from a boring script. And that's really the heart of it. Small talk just feels repetitive, predictable, and kind of emotionally flat. What you're actually craving is a conversation that feels real, something engaging and worthwhile, where you can connect with what someone is actually thinking and feeling. It's a hunt for a rewarding connection, not just a casual one. So here's the crucial point. When someone is quiet in a group that's full of small talk, it's not because they can't join in. It is almost always a conscious choice to save that precious energy for conversations that actually mean something to them. And that deep preference for substance, it gets mistaken for shyness or a lack of social grace all the time. So when you're constantly trying to avoid that energy drain, solitude starts to look a lot less like loneliness and a whole lot more like self-care. It becomes a sanctuary, a safe space. Psychologically, this happens through something called emotional conditioning. Basically, after you feel drained or overstimulated in social situations again and again, your nervous system starts to adapt to protect you. It learns to associate being alone with safety, with calm, with a predictable escape from that mental storm of socializing. So let's be super clear about what's really being avoided here. It's not the people themselves, not at all. It's the performance, the pressure of social obligations, the weight of what everyone expects from you, that constant need to monitor yourself, the whole performance of just keeping up. That's what makes being alone feel so much more honest and healing. And all of this, it brings us to the most important point I want to make today. If any of this is hitting home for you, please know that your experience isn't just valid, it's shared by so many other people. Let's just say this out loud. It is absolutely okay to need time alone to recharge your batteries. It is not a flaw, it is a fundamental need for your own well-being. It is okay to value deep, meaningful connections way more than surface-level chatter. Your preference for substance is just a reflection of how you engage with the world, and there is nothing wrong with that.
And finally, it is more than okay, it is vital to protect your mental and emotional energy. Choosing to set boundaries, choosing solitude, that is a powerful act of self-preservation. It is not an act of rejection.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. What if this tendency isn't a social problem at all? What if being selective, being thoughtful, and being so deeply tuned into the world around you is actually a quiet, powerful kind of strength? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.